Welcome to episode 156 of the Twim Show. This is your Sajid Islam, and today I'll be going over the notable news and updates from the digital marketing space from the week of April 10 through 14, 2023. Today, first off, we have an announcement from Microsoft. Microsoft has launched PLA extensions. Microsoft Ads have launched PLA extensions. PLA extensions, according to Microsoft, are the first fully integrated retail media solutions for their Promote IQ solution stack. And what it allows you to do is to serve product ads both on-site and off-site with a single budget while automatically optimizing for the best balance of performance and reach. Now, if you are unfamiliar with the concept on on-site and off-site ads, and you've heard, okay, on-site SEO and off-site SEO, well, allow me to break it down for you, okay? For on-site ads, basically what it means is that it's like when you advertise your product on a retailer's website, it's known as on-site. It's a strategy with proven return on investment, but with on-site, obviously there is a limit to how much your ads can reach, because it will only serve your ads to the visitors who are already on that product, on that retailer's website, number one. And number two is obviously, there is limited space availability, right? Because the competition is there, your competitors or your other product suppliers wants to also put an ad, so it's an inventory issue. And offsite is anything you post outside. So, for example, Google would be a good example, or through a browser is one example. That's offsite ads. And onsite would be something like if you're putting up your ad on Best Buy or say Amazon.com. Okay. Now with PLA extensions, which is part of the Promote IQ solution stack, it allows you to kind of figure out, okay, fine, you have inventory, and it detects like, oh, you're not spending all your budget for on-site ad just because there is limited capacity, limited demand, or whatever it is reason, and then it will automatically divert that the spend into offsite ads. So here's an example that Microsoft has provided in their announcement. It's like, for example, suppose John is searching for a new pair of boots on his favorite retailer's website. He sees your ad for a particular brand of boots, but becomes distracted before adding them to his cart and leaves the website without making a purchase. Later that evening, he's browsing online and he sees your ads again on Bing. He clicks through the ad on Bing and is taken to the product page on the retailer's website, and this time makes a purchase. Meanwhile, Sandra, another shopper in need of new boots who isn't familiar with your brand, has also seen your ad on DuckDuckGo, clicks through to make a purchase as well. Thanks to the PLA extension feature, you have reached the in-market shoppers for both on and off the retailer's site with a single PLA campaign. So I hope that kind of gives you a good understanding of what PLA extensions are going to do, because it drives awareness of your brand and points prospective customers back to your product landing page, growing your audience and increasing the likelihood of sales. Now, again, like I said, this is part of the Microsoft Promote IQ solution stack. Again, I'm not sure how many of our listeners are going to do it. Nevertheless, it's interesting to see how you can apply the same concept into other stuff. Like, for example, between Amazon, I'm using Amazon as an example, although I'm not very familiar with the Amazon ecosystem. I don't think you can pixel it or pixel the people who are coming to your Amazon site, but but I'm just saying you could show your ads to people who are on Amazon, and then also kind of show your ads to people who are on DuckDuckGo, Google, or Bing, and kind of do an omni-channel solution, build an omni-channel retail media stack. So hope this helps, gives you some food for thought, and figure out where you want to kind of place your ads, and how do you want to be seen, and how do you want to be found. Again, this should be your marketer's job. If you are the business owner thinking about this, then I would be like, you are really wearing a different hat than what you set out to be, unless of course you want to love being a marketer. Okay, with that, let's go to another different update, which is GA4 now gives you the ability to change how you count your conversions. Google Analytics, which is GA4, Google Analytics 4 now allows users to modify the counting method for conversion. Now they have introduced the once per session option, which is similar to how Universal Analytics, the soon to be retired version, operated. This, I think they did this because they have so many complaints and users are saying the numbers don't match up. So they are trying to kind of, narrow that gap, the difference. Okay. So the once per event, which is recommended by GA4 setting, means that Google Analytics 4 properties count an event as a conversion every time it occurs. This is good for things like if you have sales or if you're counting add to cart. This should be always once per event. This option is recommended because it reflects the behavior of users on your site or app and allows you to distinguish between sessions where multiple conversions occur and sessions where only one conversion occurred. For example, a user completes 5 conversions in one session. This setting counts 5 conversions, which is exactly what I said, add to cart, because a visitor could be adding 5 different products. You want to count each one of them. If they've checked out 5 different times within that one session, you want to still count it as a conversion. Now, the one caveat to that is if you have a lead collection form, if the visitor is filling out the lead form 5 times, I'm not sure you really want to count it as 5 conversions. I would still count it as 1, but that's a different discussion for another day, depending on what kind of business you are, what kind of lead you're collecting and things like that. Now, the legacy one will once per session, which means this setting means that the Google Analytics 4 properties count an event as a conversion only once it occurs within a particular session, which is exactly the same example I gave you, which is again someone's filling out a lead form and filled it out 3 times. You don't want to count it three times. You just want it to count 1 conversion. Okay. And what Google is saying, select these options if it is important for your GA4 conversion to count to closely match your UA conversion count. No, Mr. Google, there are other reasons, business cases for which I would want to do once per session. Okay. Now, obviously, if you're not unfamiliar with what a session is a group of user interactions with your website or app that takes place within a given time frame. This time can be pre-configured. You could change it. The default is 30 minutes. You can lower it down, bump it up to you. Okay. And you know what? So if you don't make a choice, Google Analytics will automatically, which is GA4, will automatically use the default counting method. The default depends on how conversion events were created. So it's kind of, the plot thickens, right? Now, once per session is the default counting method for all conversions that were created from Universal Analytics goals. Remember a few weeks ago, I said, if you don't opt out, Google will automatically create a GA4. If that's the case happened, then of course you have to, that's how it got kind of carried over. Or you use the Google's provided tool that says, hey, you are in Universal Analytics. It's going to soon be out of service, or it will be sunsetted soon, it will be discontinued soon, and you said, okay, you chose that auto migration, then of course, your once per session is kind of kicked in. However, once per event is the default counting method for all the other conversions. Now, if you're not sure what is what, you can go to your conversion events table in admin conversions, and any conversion with an icon next to it is using the once per session counting method. And if there are no icons, then in the conversion name column, that means it's using once per event. So I think that's a good way to do it. So you know what, I would suggest you check out the show notes on our Substack page, because I go through a lot of things. There are a few other things that I want to actually, no, there isn't much. This is all I covered, but you should really still go check out the Substack page, because what you will be able to do is you'll be able to kind of go read it and figure out, okay, which ones do I have. I think that's the best idea. But again, you can change the conversion method by going to conversions. What is it called? I'm blanking out. Conversion events table. But remember, you need to have editor above role on that property. Okay. Moving on to kind of a new stuff. It seems like the 2020 internet advertising revenue report has come out, which is in internet advertising. I don't know what B stands for, but anyway, IAB is how they go by. What's interesting is that 40.2% of all digital ad revenue in the US was for search ads. So, in 2022, there was, basically the market size was 209.7, $210 billion, 84.4 billion went towards search advertising, search ads. And in 2021 is out of 189 billion that was spent, 78.3 billion was spent on search ads. So search ads did go up a little bit, but not as much as the ratios are not there yet. But I still think search is still a big blind share. If you are not playing in the space in the search ads market, you are really losing out, folks. Listen, people are not businesses are not spending $84 billion a year because they like to spend it. Businesses are going to be the first one to stop spending money, unless of course it's a big large company. Even then, still, if they cannot show an ROI, if it didn't really yield any money or revenue just from the spending. Okay, so the point of me covering it is that this is a huge untapped potential, which is demand capture from the search marketing. Now obviously that's going to change in the coming weeks, months and years, because as ChatGPT kicks in, but I'm sure there's going to be some play of some sort. But YouTube ads and Google search ads and Bing ads are basically search marketing, which is aka demand capture. If you're not capturing demand and you're trying to generate demand, which is demand generation, and posting it on social media, you're not going after the low-hanging fruit, folks. What can I say? It's your business, your decision, but I would rather go for the low-hanging fruit to capture the demand first and then go focus on demand generation. That's just me. Okay. The other thing that was released this week was the Google's 2022 web spam report. This is very interesting because I want to highlight for a couple of reasons. I'm sharing this update is because obviously Google uses this thing called Spam Brain. This is basically the name that they've given to their AI-based spam prevention system that they launched in 2018, but really didn't unveil until 2021. Okay. So what they're saying is that Spam Brain detected 5 times more spam in 2022, and the other thing I want you to know is that they have 10 times improvement in site detection. So basically they will kind of figure out, has your site been hacked, especially if you are on WordPress, but it could be Wix, it could be Weebly, because they have compromised your password, and then people have put in malware, or people have put viruses, or whatever it is. If they figure it out, they're 10 times better. Spam Brain can detect spam during crawling. So if a page doesn't need to be indexed, if it finds to be spammy. Why this is interesting is that it goes back to what I've covered in the past, is like, you need to create pages that are EAT, which is experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness, right? If you're not creating content like that way, and your content is not getting indexed, probably it could be because it's being detected as spammy content. Now, how do you create spammy contents? By writing like AI-generated content. And not all AI-generated content are spammy content. It's just that you have to write content that are meaningful. That's all it matters, folks. That's all it matters. That's all I share about, and I will share a couple of other newsworthy updates in this episode that you really want to listen, and they're very crucial if you are in the SEO game. Okay, let's move on to the next update of this week. The other update for this week is that Google has updated policy for video thumbnail in search results. So what is this? Allow me to break it down. Sometimes when you search something, which I did, is like, you will see search results, which is known as SERP, which is search engine results page. In the SERP, you will see an image, and if it's a video, it will show a video. It's like an image with a play icon, like a YouTube play icon, right? And that kind of indicates to the searcher, that, hey, this page, if you click on it, it has a video, you can watch that video, or this page, if it's just an image, there is an image. And up until now, Google used to say, there are 2 ways you could have this thumbnail show up. For a page that was if video was the main content of the page, of course, it will show that, and it still does, which is it will show that image with that, or the video overlay. Basically, that kind of tells you, hey, this is a video, and it shows up on the left-hand side. So what will happen is the video icon, the thumbnail, and then the text. And in the other second option was, let me think, where a video was present on the page but not the main element of the page, it will show the thumbnail on the right hand side. So on the left hand side, if you see the thumbnail with the play icon, that basically means the video was the main content. And if it was on the thumbnail on the right hand side with the play icon, that means there's a video, but it's not the main content. Now Google is dropping the second option, which is the right hand side. What Google is saying, the only time we will show your thumbnail, video thumbnail with the play icon is only if video is the main content of the page. When I did the test, what I saw was that, yes, it has dropped the thumbnail on the right hand side, the thumbnail with on the right hand side with the play icon, and what instead they put is a static image. That's all. That's the difference. Why this matters is because, of course, it's going to change the reported metrics for videos in the performance report of your search console or in the search console. So it matters. Again, if you don't have videos, then it really doesn't apply to you. But if you're wondering why there is a drop in video reported metrics for your videos, you kind of probably have to figure out, okay, fine, what really changed. So now you know what could be happening, and then you kind of have to sit and investigate and figure out, okay, what do we need to make video the main content, or is it going to be just content within the page? Okay. Next up is Google has warned again that do not use cloaking, especially for HTTP status codes, because if you do, it's against Google's policy. Now, what is cloaking? Cloaking is a simple method to hide a website's natural appearance to a search engine, right? This gives search engines a version of the web page or content that is different from what website visitors can actually see when they visit the web page. And people do it for many reasons, right? But what Google is saying, don't do it, even if it's status codes. So because a question came up during this month's SEO office hour, and they were asking, okay, what if I'm not giving a different version of the page content? Okay, the content is the same, but when the search engine visits, which obviously we know how when Googlebot is visiting, and I'm giving it a status code of 410. Status codes of 410 would mean basically that the web page or the content that you're looking for has been permanently deleted. However, if a user visits it, because again we know it's a user visiting because it's going to send in the browser information with its Chrome, Safari, Firefox, Mozilla, whatever it is, it sends it, and we could program our server to say, hey, if it's something like Chrome or Safari, show them the page, which is a status code of 200, but if it's a Google bot, then obviously show them a status code of 410 that's telling them, hey, this page does not exist. Gary Iller says, no, it's a big no, do not do it. Really, you're going to get into trouble. If we find it, we're going to de-index you, we're going to ban you. What he's saying is, if you really don't want the search engine to come and look for your page and it doesn't exist, just use the no index tag. We've covered tags so many times in our show in the past that, it's right now, it may sound like a broken record. Structured data, tags, and things like that. But what I'm saying is, by tags, I mean meta tags. But if you find yourself in this situation where you don't want the Google bot or any of the bots to index your page, or wants your page to be de-indexed for whatever reason, probably it had some information that is no longer valid, and you don't want it to be remaining in the Google index because the price has changed or your history has changed, just use the no index tag. Okay, do not try to play around with the status codes. If your SEO guy or gal is telling you this to you, make sure you say no, that doesn't sound right. And this is one of the reasons why you need to have a good SEO people. And also, not only that, you need to also have a good backline advisors who you can reach out to and say, hey, do we do this? Because remember, you don't want to be banned or delisted from Google or de-indexed from Google, because that's a huge blow. And once you get de-indexed, good luck in trying to get indexed. Okay. The next update again is a question. Hey, I have 8,000 pages. Do I wait and kind of release them in chunks, or can I go and release them all at the same time? This was a question that was asked to John Mueller on Twitter. John Mueller says, hey, I don't see a reason for you to wait. If they're really good, high quality pages, why wait? Publish them, right? But at the same time, if it's crap, it doesn't matter whether you publish in batches 10, 20, 50 at a time, that really would not help you. Now, having said that, my professional opinion based on what I've been covering, and if you've been listening, is like, I wouldn't publish 8,000 pages all at the same time, because the chances of all of them getting indexed is very, very low. Just because if you remember, I think last episode only we talked about crawl budgets. So what I would probably do is do in batches of 10 or 15 or 20 and slowly warm up the crawler, right? So I would probably publish 1 a week or 2 a week on regular cadence, and have the Google bot kind of, warm it up, like make it show like, oh, if you come here every Tuesday and Friday, you're going to get new content. So it slowly starts to show up on a regular basis, and slowly, bump up. So from 2 pages a week to maybe 4 pages a week, still on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but now it has 4 pages, now it has 6 pages, and slowly the crawl budget increases as well. Yes, it's going to take a significant amount of time for 8,000 pages, but I think that's worth the effort, especially also if you use the Bing plugin. If you're on WordPress and use the Bing plugin, you can only submit so many in a given day, right? So while I do appreciate John Mueller, there is those gray areas that I want you to think about, because there's crawl budgets, there's only so many pages that are going to get crawled. Now, on the flip side, I think where John is coming from is like, if you have 8,000 pages of good content, so let's just say you're a WebMD, right? You want them to be found, you want the users to be kind of, read about it, and then over time, Google is going to come back and index it. But when that is, up to you. So it comes down to a business decision of how you are going to roll out these pages. But I presented my opinion. You have John's. Use your own business. I guess think your business better, and you figure out how you're going to release them. Okay. Next up is Gary Illes. Again, the same call from the Google's April's SEO office hour is like what to do if there's if you have a sudden ranking drop. So what Gary is saying, look, if it's for one phrase or one keyword, then it is very highly possible that your competitor has better content. They have improved their content or implemented better SEO strategies, leading them to outrank your website for a targeted keyword. But what happens if you really did disappear for that one keyword phrase? Okay, fine. You are not sure whether it's really a competitor, or is it just me, or is it just thing. So one of the things he's saying is that you could use, if you have a remote friend, ask them to check it from another site, which is google.co.uk or another website region, and see if it shows up. And you kind of know, okay, is this something happening with this region, or is it just the Google, or is it just my browser or my machine? So there's quite a few things you can try it out. Right. Again, you could use a VPN to figure out, okay, is this a fluke, or is this something that's really permanent? Like, for example, everything checks out. Yeah, you see your website doesn't show up on not only from the US, but the Europe, the UK, the Germany, and the Japan indexes. It's just like dark. Then he suggests check if you did anything that have caused it. Maybe you have rearranged the internal structure, the page layout, you've acquired more backlinks, you probably have used a disavow tool, things like that, right? And that will kind of give you some clue as to what might have gone wrong. So you have to, this is why I say, folks, you need to have everything documented. All right, it's like medical records. You need to have everything documented, because you cannot just go back and say, oh, this is the change that caused it. You got to do one change at a time, just like in the IT industry. You do one change at a time, you document all your changes, and then once this is done, you kind of assess, and then you roll out the next changes. So that way, if something were to happen, they were like, oh, 2 weeks ago we made this change, so I think this is what's causing it, and you kind of go back to it. Yeah, I know it's not really very scientific, but that's the only way it's going to work, because Google is not going to come and give you all the details. The other thing is you want to check is, could it be technical issues? Maybe the bots are not able to reach your site. Maybe, there are some errors. So you need to look at the Search Console page. You need to look at the search. Need to look at your web server logs, things like that. There are quite a few things you can check. Where I'm going with this, that it is very unusual, and this is not just me. Well, Gary Illes says, and I am just repeating himself, it's like very unusual for our website to completely drop off of the index, unless, of course, you are doing something black hat, which is like cloaking the status codes, cloaking the content, things like that. In that case, you're deleted. There's a manual action on your website. Quite a few things that can happen, but it's very unnatural. It's very rare, but it does happen. Okay. So then the next update and the last update for this week's are backlinks still relevant in 2023, because there are quite a few services, a lot of SEO pundits, experts, whatever, basically selling backlink services. Is it really, really important? John Mueller says no. Okay, we know it all about it. Most of the SEO practitioners make backlinks for just manipulating search results and gain positions. If private tools like SEMrush and Ahrefs can detect those IPs which are building backlinks, do you think Google doesn't know about them and Google doesn't track them? That is exactly the thing that John Mueller said, right? John Mueller says that Google is excellent at ignoring links that are designed to try to manipulate Google search rankings. But as a reminder, Google does not demote, but rather just devalues those links. So basically what John is saying, look, we know which links are manufactured links and which links are really real backlinks. Right, and if it's something those are manufactured, we just very good at ignoring them. We do not demote. Demote would mean that it would lower the ranking of the website for doing something bad. Devalue means it would simply ignore the link spam and not downgrade the rank of the website. So that's it, folks. And now you know everything to be in the know. Backlinks, good quality backlinks, organic backlinks do matter, in my opinion. But I wouldn't go hire someone to create backlinks for you, because it's going to really rank you higher. I would probably promote it, create quality content, and work with other reputable websites and agencies and things like that, and get it ranking back and kind of surface up. But again, backlink is something we have covered, but I wouldn't necessarily just spend all my effort and energy in building backlinks like some SEO practitioners and experts say that. I would focus on probably more of the demand capture, right? Demand capture is really good, and let the backlink take over organically over a period of time. With that, that's it for this week in marketing. This is your host Sajid Islam signing off until next week. Take care. Bye bye.